It would appear the bulls are back, my friends, as we just ran 40% off the lows for Bitcoin. But if history repeats itself, as it has done the last two times this same pattern formed up, we have another 40% to go, which would lead us to a profit target of about 60,000 on Bitcoin. The only question is, are there some underlying factors that could prevent it from happening this time? Let's check it out. Let's get into what's exactly happening in the markets. If you're looking for the next 100x crypto project to buy into, you have come to the right place. My name is Cameron Fous, and I have been a professional day trader for nearly 20 years. I deposited $20,000 into an account, and in just over a year, it's now worth nearly $2 million. On this channel, I'm going to present to you the best altcoins to buy, such as getting into Mana before it ripped 595%, getting into Dogecoin before it ran 15,000%. So if you want to hear about all the best trade opportunities first, hit that subscribe button, and more importantly, turn on the notifications bell so you can get these time-sensitive trade ideas immediately when my new videos go live. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. This is not financial advice, just some various things that I somehow predict quite accurately on a regular basis. Whether you want to follow that advice or not, this is for educational purposes only. But we got some interesting things going on with Bitcoin. And if you remember what I said on December 10th, nothing's going to happen until this descending wedge breaks out. Let's do a little rewind of that clip. So until this line is broken to the upside, bulls are fucked. We're definitely gonna continue to see things sliding until that actually happens. And I even mentioned in my Wolf Alerts group, boom. And that was back when we were up at like 40, 50K, I think. Then we dropped as low as 32.8. And then we finally broke out of this wedge pattern at about 38,000 on Bitcoin. And that's when I started buying into some things because we finally got that confirmation of that. But I did short quite a bit as we continually retested these levels on Bitcoin. I was actually short again prior to this actual breakout here. I got short right about here on Bitcoin, hoping to see the next leg down. And that's what's difficult about these wedge patterns, guys, is when you're looking at this as resistance, as it retests, this is a perfect shorting opportunity because when it does fail, it just completely falls off a cliff as we have seen every time. The flip side of that is if it actually holds a breakout and doesn't turn into a bull trap or a fake out like it did here, that's when we see these massive moves. All the people that are short get absolutely squeezed. Brief interruption from today's sponsor, which is Monaco Market, the first blockchain marketplace for physical goods. Now, this is actually an insanely cool concept because trading physical goods has been going on for a very long time. But there's always the risk of what if you get robbed? What if it gets damaged? And then if you buy and sell it with somebody else, you have to transport it to that person. You have to authenticate it. All very high risk. Just for an example, also, I was recently robbed. I had 2 Rolexes stolen. That investment is now gone because it was stolen. What Monaco Market is aiming to do is make it an easy way to buy and sell physical collectibles, whether it be shoes that are highly sought after or limited supply, trading cards, jewelry, watches, basically anything under the sun that has value, artwork. All these things can then turn into an NFT, and that physical asset is then held in a vault by Monaco Market and also authenticated, and anybody selling on the marketplace is properly vetted. So then now this creates an easy way for anybody to trade, buy and sell physical collectibles simply by trading the asset of the NFT. And the asset can then be exchanged. If you want the physical piece of art, the watch or whatever, you can exchange that NFT directly back to you so you can receive the physical good, but maybe you're just in it for the return, the ROI. And that way you can easily just hold the NFT. The asset is then held in a secure vault where you don't have to worry about it being stolen, okay? And if it is stolen, it's also insured. So this is a very, very cool platform. And like I said, I recently just bought a brand new Rolex day date and I'm up 30% on this. Currently right now, I don't have this in my possession. It would be nice if this was actually held in a vault at Monaco. But this is just an example of physical collectibles that appreciate in value. You can actually trade these things. People think that you just buy a Rolex and all of a sudden, why would you waste that money? Well, guess what? Rolexes are an asset, okay? And this is a perfect example of using Monaco Market where you might want to buy a Rolex just for trading that asset and then holding it as an NFT rather than potentially getting robbed like I did. And then I just lost that whole entire asset because I had that physical good in my possession. So overall, Monaco Market is super cool. And they're also in the actual collect coin ICO phase where you can get in very early on this because they do have a coin. It's called Collect Coin. You can go to collectco.in and invest in this actual platform, invest in the token launch of this. Right now, they're in the phase 3 of 4, where the price is still at 14 cents and the next one is at 15 cents. They have an audit by Certic, audit by Hacken. In addition, if you stake your coin, you also get a third of all the fees that they collect by the actual trading fees of trading the NFTs. Overall, super cool project. I'm very interested. It's coming out soon with Collect Coin, going to be listed on PancakeSwap. That's it for today's sponsor. This is Monaco Market with their token launch Collect Coin. You can see I was short from 38.2 on Bitcoin, had 8 Bitcoin open, had my take profit trigger down here, but I ended up locking in these gains. You can see my open profit was 12,500. My that was unrealized, and my realized I locked in 12.6, and you can see I actually locked in all those gains, 12 plus 7 plus 5, over $20,000 in gains going short. And I was hoping to see, okay, maybe this thing is now going to get ready to fall off the cliff because it's retesting these patterns here and then actually going to absolutely get crushed here and eat shit. That's not what happened. We quickly reversed 2 days, and at about 38,000, this was about midnight for me here in Bali, I decided, okay, and I had already locked in all my gains short. And I said, okay, guys, I think it's time that we actually start buying some things. But I didn't know, right? I was getting ready to go to bed, so I didn't have time to monitor this. But, rather than betting the farm that this is going to happen, I decided to buy some things. Because if we look at the previous 2 times the same exact pattern has formed up, one, we saw a descending wedge here. And when these patterns happen, when we look at the previous history, there's really no pullbacks. Bitcoin just starts running, and then all this FOMO starts happening, and we go on epic fucking benders, 61%, 56%. And as soon as these triggers happen, a big spike happens. And a lot of time they happen prior to them actually happening. There's a big buying volume. And this gets short scared, and then all of a sudden shorts start flipping and start reversing their opinion, or they get scared and get squeezed out and have to either cover because they're covering losses, or they get margin called and their broker automatically covers and buys that position for them to recover that, and that creates a lot of buying pressure across the board. And that's kind of why we see these little non-stops. You don't even get a chance to buy into a pullback or wait for things to start forming up. It's you buy here and you hope you bought some. Otherwise, you're going to be chasing the whole way up. And for me, I never fucking chase. It's a very dangerous habit to get into. Sometimes you could chase it up here, buy, and then be scared right here, but then you're going to end up in a profit up here. That's not a good strategy for me. I either buy at the optimal time or I don't buy at all. And so you can see once this broke here, it ran 61%. Next time we had a descending wedge pattern breakout, broke here at about 44, had a 56% run, no pullback, right? Just straight fucking up. You're waiting for a pullback. There isn't one. So either buy or get on the train or it's gone. Or you're chasing and risk the chance of it not becoming a trend and then reversing like it had been doing a lot of times. Like this was a mental shit show going through this right here, right? Is this it? Nope. Is this it? Nope. And it just was sideways. Sideways can drive people crazy because things aren't in a trend. And then we were down here and I was short, covered, and then it looked like we were potentially just coming to re-break this descending wedge, right? We are already down off the top 51%. A 51% pullback on Bitcoin is quite heavy. And when you look at all the altcoins across the board, they were 60 to 90% down. So that's a pretty big reset across the board on the altcoins. It's still like, okay, is this it? Or are we going to actually go into the actual really strong support, which is about 29 to 30K, bigger whole number, which could still potentially be retested. We don't know if this trend is going to continue like it had on the other 2 times. The last 2 times we had 61% and 56%, which would then suggest somewhere an average run of about, 58, 59% from the actual breakout trigger, which from here would lead us to, about 60,000, which is a nice round number, which is also near all-time highs. So we could definitely potentially run to 60K, but there's also just the underlying factor of stocks. I'm scared about stocks. We're seeing a huge amount of volatility in stocks up and down after making a very big run. There has been no reset in the stock market. And as we've seen time and time again, when stocks start selling off, Bitcoin does start selling off quite heavily. Fear from the stock market also bleeds into crypto space. Brief interruption from today's sponsor, guys, Nomiswap.io, which is the first DEX in DeFi space with 0% swap fees and team farming. This is pretty crazy. 0% swap fees, that has my attention. Now, this is also backed by the Nominex ecosystem, which is actually a Binance partnered broker. And with Nominex, you can actually trade any token that's actually on Binance as well. Full trade platform. So really cool. This is also basically in sync, Nominex and Nomiswap together. Nomiswap is also listed on the top 20 DeFi projects by Binance Smart Chain as well. In addition, guys, the APR rates on Nomiswap are absolutely insane. I love farming stablecoins because it's extremely safe. I don't have to have the risk of holding onto a very volatile coin while I'm farming. But with stablecoin farming, you can earn high yield. And look at this, BUSD, 21%, USDC, 22%. This is the highest, if not the highest I've seen of a stablecoin staking farm with Nomiswap. In addition to that, they have a really cool referral program where if you refer people to this platform and those people start earning yield on their yield farms, you're also getting a percentage of the yield that your referrals are actually yielding. So this is yieldception inside of Nomiswap. I actually haven't seen a platform that's actually doing that kind of referral as well. So overall, Nomiswap, very cool platform, 0% swap fees, super high APRs for stablecoins in addition to other coins as well, such as NMX, their actual token, 198%, Solana, 50.79%, huge APRs, and also the highest stablecoin APRs I've seen. Anyways, guys, that's nomiswap.io. Go ahead and check it out. Super cool platform. And you can see we're now on this bender for stocks, and that's kind of translated also into crypto. But if we do see a big reset on stocks, there's huge inflation, a lot of weird shit going on in the economy. A reset in stocks coming back down to about 30K could definitely trigger an additional reset in crypto, spread fear across the board for investors, and people start selling. Okay, so I'm not counting that out. I'm definitely less bullish on Bitcoin than I was before because, you know, when we're going through these first runs, these are runs that we're like, okay, first run, there's no telling how high we're going to go. But the more and more we go sideways and bend and kind of create uncertainty, we don't know what's going to happen. You know, we have huge 50% drops to 100% gains to 50 to 60% drops. This volatility is crazy. You could have bought back in December 2020 and be back where you exactly started 2 years later. That's not a very good investment when you look at it long term as far as a 2-year span. Is it going to go up to 100K this year? I don't know. Then you would be in a good profitable position. But the fact is, if the US stock market does see a massive pullback and an actual real reset, this could definitely bleed into crypto as what do we pull back here up the top? 10%. That's not a reset. That's just like a little baby blip in the map. I'm thinking more along the lines of a real reset would be down to about 30K, of about 20% pullback in the US stock market, which will obviously bleed into crypto. So the question remains is it a good time to buy into crypto as of right now? Well, we had that ideal buying opportunity here on the ascending or descending wedge breakout where I did start issuing buy alerts in my Telegram Wolf Alerts group. If you want to join this is where I alert all my buys with profit targets. And we bought into 3-4 coins. I didn't bet the farm on this actual reversal because I also still have somewhat of a short bias. But we did get into wild. What's the pattern here? Same. All the patterns across the board are exactly pretty much similar, if not the exact same as Bitcoin. Descending wedge, buying the trigger, we got in about 161. This ran up to about 42% on wild. I've locked in about 60% of my gains. There's also PYR, which also broke the descending wedge down here and then had a run up. And then I bought the dip on the descending wedge once Bitcoin finally broke out because PYR actually broke out of the wedge prior to Bitcoin. Then I bought in at about 1294. We didn't see a massive run, but I locked in about 60% of my gains up at about our first profit target, about 16. So a nice 22% quick gain. There was also CWAR, which we got into after it started breaking out of the wedge pattern. Also the horizontal resistance there. Got into it about 52 cents. CWAR ran as high, hitting 2 of our profit targets of about 45%. Locked in all my gains on CWAR. And that was it for the coins that I actually bought in. Again, when this breakout was happening, it was midnight. I was tired. I was dead. I was ready to call it a day. And we were sitting here about 37.8 on Bitcoin. I was like, well, maybe this is the fucking reversal, but I'm fucking tired. It's midnight. I need to go to sleep. I don't know if it is. I'm going to buy 3-4 coins, test this out with stops in place. And if it runs, then great. I'm going to make some money. I made about $60,000 on those positions as they ran up. But now, are we going to run to 60K or is the actual US 30 going to come into resistance here at about 36,000 and see a reversal, right? We just ran a big move on the US 30. which leads me to believe that we have the potential to see a nice reversal come in here on US 30, right? I would much rather be more biased short for US 30 to reverse in here than just to keep running after a major bounce, right? We're overbought on the Iconic FX fear and greed indicator, and we could definitely see a pullback, which I think is going to bleed into the crypto scene in Bitcoin because we are very overbought here. When we get typically overbought, there is a reversal, right? But it doesn't mean it's going to happen instantly. After this descending wedge pattern breakout, we were overbought from 44K all the way up to 67K before we actually saw it actually flip the trend, right? Lots of fake outs here on Bitcoin. So overall, if you haven't bought anything yet, you missed the opportune buy opportunity on the actual trend reversal right here. For now, I don't want to chase. I would rather see some sort of reversal on Bitcoin to then start buying the dips. And then I want to see revival patterns form up. A revival pattern is basically, right, we want to see a reversal trend come in here and then form up a triangular pattern where we have a horizontal resistance and an ascending wedge triangle breakout that we can then buy into here. And then we catch that move, right? As of right now, really what happened on Bitcoin is there was a descending wedge that broke here. This is basically the pattern that we just bought into. This is the descending trend. Then the wedge pattern formed up here and we just bought into this right here, okay? This move right here is this. Now kind of what we wanna see is the neckline form up along with the ascending trend, price action form up, a little bit of a more of a breakout pattern, and then we'll rebuy either on the dips or we'll rebuy prior to the breakout happening. And that's when we'll see some major big moves again happen on a lot of the altcoins. Bitcoin might not form this pattern, but a lot of the altcoins form up this pattern. This is something I teach in the Krypton course, which is called a revival. I love trading revivals. They happen all the time and they initially trigger with that descending wedge breakout where you can play that first initial spike up. It's going to be a tough call because we don't know if Bitcoin is just going to run straight up to fucking 60K like it has on these other reversals. But there's the factor of the US 30, which could definitely bleed into this, which makes me nervous and a little bit cautious to go super heavy on crypto. Anything can happen, but that's just kind of where I'm at right now with crypto. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are on crypto. Are you bull? Are you bear? Are you neutral? What are you buying? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.